What's up, guys? Can you hear me? What's up? What's up? How's everyone doing today? Is the video okay? Audio's okay? You guys can hear, see, all that good shit? Dope. No, there will be no freestyling today. What's up, Daniel, Eric, Shay, Steven, David? What's up, Anna? Doing test neck flex. Come on now. What's up from Rome, bro? What's going on, HVAC? I'm doing good, man. My neck is looking small. Jesus Christ. That's unacceptable, isn't it? No, you cannot make fun of my Harry Potter glasses. Why am I looking like Casper the Ghost? Because I'm pale, bro. Fuck you. Okay, cool. So what's up, everyone? Hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope everyone's making some money. We've got lots of volatility in the market, which has been awesome. So we are gonna get right into it today. We're gonna be covering Ethereum and Bitcoin primarily. Everything's looking pretty good. We've had pretty bullish week in price action, and we're coming up into some key levels here. So I'm gonna be talking about specifically with regards to Bitcoin and Ethereum, kind of some potential trade setups going into this week. And then we will discuss just kind of some more macro thoughts I have about where we are in the market. You know, are we going much higher? Is there a chance for a deeper pullback? And then lastly, we will take a couple requests. If you guys got any questions, we can do a little bit of Q&A with the chat. We can go over some altcoins, that kind of thing. And yeah. Hufflepuff, fuck you, bro. I'm Gryffindor 100%. How dare you? Did anyone get any of those Solana apes? They all looked pretty ugly to me, I'm not going to lie. I had, yeah, we can talk NFTs. I finally got into the NFTs a little bit. I bought a couple of those pudgy penguins when they were like 3 or 4 grand, so like 1 Ethereum, and I've already gotten offers for like 10 grand for a few of them, which is just makes zero sense to me because it's just a stupid fucking penguin. But hey, yeah, the degen apes. Yeah, I can talk about NFTs a little later. So cool, let's get into it, guys. We'll start off with Bitcoin. We'll go into Ethereum. We'll look at Ethereum BTC. We can do some Q&A. We can chat about NFTs, and we'll stream into the weekly close. And then this week, I got another video for the altcoin series coming out. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that video out to you guys by Thursday at the latest. Yeah, we will go from there. I bought, so it's the top. I don't know, bro. I'm up 3x. Okay, cool. So shout out to Bybit, guys, as usual, sponsor for the video. So if you want to know about the latest promotion we're running, same one as last week, $1,000 deposit bonus. So I've left all the info in the description of the video. All you got to do is click the link. If you deposit a certain amount of money, depending on how much you deposit, that will determine how big the reward is. You can deposit Bitcoin, XRP, LTC. There's a whole bunch of different coins that are eligible. So check that out. Shout out to the team at Bybit. They've been helping me out put these videos for you guys every week. I've been doing these videos every Sunday for a year straight, which is pretty fucking crazy. So if you ever are hurting for some content, you want to stare at my ugly mug, there's a year's worth of videos, 52 plus on YouTube there. So make sure to check those out. You like feet. That's a weird thing to say. Yeah. So shout out to the team at Bybit. Click the link in the description, sign up, deposit some money, get some free cash, use it to buy NFTs, ramen, whatever you want to do. Yeah, really helps me out if you guys use the link in the description there. So yeah, let's get into it. Bonjour from Auckland. I didn't know you spoke French in New Zealand, bro. All right, cool. So I'm gonna try my best to keep up with the chat. As you guys know, you degenerates get a little bit crazy, so I have a hard time keeping up, but I will check the chat intermittently throughout the video. But we're gonna get started with some Bitcoin analysis. So price action's been super fucking bullish for the last basically almost month. Since the bottom that was formed about a month ago in July, around July 20th, we've basically been going up only, with only one kind of decent correction along the way. How much higher can we go? What are some levels we can look for trades at? So we'll talk about all of those things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out. The chat is going so fast that nobody will see that I'm straight. Oh, I just saw, bro. Congrats. I'm going to zoom out. Do a little bit of top-down analysis for you guys on Bitcoin. What are the key levels I'm looking at? And then we'll zoom in. We'll look at those levels, and I can identify some potential trade setups for you guys to get into this week. And we'll go from there. Bro, the chat is on slow mode. It doesn't matter. You guys just fucking type way too fast. Maybe I gotta make the delay even more. So we'll start with Bitcoin. We're going to zoom out. I did end up hopping on stream the other day with Ninja Scalp. He's one of the homies. You can find him on Twitter. I ended up joining him for about an hour on his stream. He uploaded the video on his YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, it was a really good conversation the two of us had. He asked me a lot of questions. I think it's definitely one that you'd want to rewatch. Lots of little tidbits of alpha in there about trading and just kind of my journey in trading and that kind of shit. So check that out. Shout out to the homie Ninja. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start on the weekly chart here, guys. And as we can see here, effectively, since we made that low, we're now working on our fourth green weekly candle in a row. So 4 green weekly candles in a row obviously can happen. We've had more, right? Here we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here we had 4. This is a lot more reminiscent of where we are currently. And what I mean by that is, yes, we had a bunch of weekly candles here, but they were all relatively small bodied candles. Here you can see these are large expansion candles, right? So this is a clear indication that there's some really strong buying momentum that is causing this move up. However, a really strong expansive move to the upside, like any of these, always will result in some kind of pullback. I'm not saying we're going to go like this. We could, but there will be a pullback, whether that's this coming week, 2 weeks from now, I don't know yet, but you guys do need to be prepared. There will be a shakeout. No doubt in my mind, this move ends up having some sort of shakeout. Maybe it goes a little higher, but we will have a multi-$1,000 downward candle that's going to shake out a bunch of people, because it's basically been free money to be long over the last month. And that's not just in terms of price action, but from funding as well. Funding has been relatively flat and neutral for a lot of this run up. And there was shorts paying to be short during this run up. And funding is only just now starting to get beyond neutral and going to where it's going to cost you money to be long. It's been an awesome ride. Obviously, we didn't get in at the absolute bottom, but I've had some really nice longs in here for myself. And I've also had a lot of really nice plays on alts recently. We're seeing a lot of altcoins start to rally pretty hard. You see Dogecoin going ham. So if you're in my Discord, I posted a bunch of different alts where they all looked very similar to me. We had a bunch of alts that effectively did kind of the W bottom, and then we're testing the range highs, and a lot of them have now, did the retest and are running. So we can go look at a few of those at the end of the video, but there's been a lot of money to be made in the last week, the last couple of weeks especially, between Bitcoin, Ethereum running, and then altcoins going crazy, the whole NFT phase. So I hope everyone's in a good mood. I hope everyone's happy. I hope everyone's making a little bit of money. And we're going to kind of give you some setups here that I'm eyeing for this week. And hopefully I can help you make a little bit more. Night Wolf, I'm in love with my ex and it's been almost 2 years. Annoying bitch. Wow. Well, bro, I don't know what to say to that. Move on, dog. Do you foresee a significant pullback this week? I don't know if it will be this week, but I am absolutely expecting a pullback sooner than later. Yo, Mayne, are you eyeing a level for potential swing failure patterns? Do you enter the trade on a break and close, a retest, or what's your conditions to enter a trade? Really appreciate the alpha. I can go into that in a bit. Discord link is in the description of my Twitter, but at the end of the stream, I will drop the Discord link. I don't know where my moderator is. Usually he's in the chat doing that shit for me. Let's leave some likes on the videos, guys. We got a shitload of people watching, so like the fucking video. I need that YouTube money. Okay, so looking at the weekly chart here on Bitcoin, this is still the main draw for me on price. Like if you look how close we are to kind of retesting this area, I would be very, very surprised if we don't get a retest of this kind of point of origin of the entire move. So this is the bearish order block that caused the down move that broke market structure on the weekly. So this is a very significant level here. Okay, very significant level. And I would be very surprised if we don't come test it. I mean, we're pretty much at this level right here now, but this level is so close to price. This to me seems like a magnet for price. And I'd be very surprised if we don't come up and at least test this level. This is also very much confluent with our fibs, right? If we pull our fib from the highest high to the lowest low, that kind of 70.5 optimal trade entry lines up very well with that order block. This is where we want to be hedging our bets. This is the area, in my opinion, where if a lower high is happening, it happens in here. Somewhere between kind of 50, because it's a nice big round number, right up to about 57. That would be where a potential lower high happens. Could it lead to a higher low? Of course, that would be the ideal scenario. Like I would love something like this, but there will be some resistance here if I had to bet money on it, and I will bet money on it because that's what trading is, in this zone. So the question is how do you play this? Well, this is, I think, where you get defensive. We've had an insane rally from the lows. We have altcoins going nuts. We're up 60% on Bitcoin. We're up 80+% on Ethereum. This is where you start getting defensive and start looking for opportunities to either hedge or get short. If we start closing above the 79 fib, so the 78.6 fib, which is right now at 57,356, if we close over there, to me, that confirms we're going to make a new all-time high and go way beyond. I know a lot of you are going to say, well, fuck, 57K is only $7,000 away from all-time high. This is the weekly chart. So market structure on the weekly takes a very, very long time to change. Price swings on the weekly can be absolutely massive. You can have a move from here to here be 100% and it still doesn't make a higher high. It makes a lower high, right? So we could come all the way up here and then still be bearish. Right? And this could just be a bear market rally. If you go back to 2017, obviously I don't want that to happen, but if you go back to 2017, this is a 100% move here almost that led to a lower high, right? This is a massive move right here from here to here. You know, this is a 60% move, lower high. The first big dump that we had here. Right? So from the top to the bottom to here, 60% move from the low. Everyone probably thought we were going back to all-time high, made a lower high. So I'm not saying that this is going to be a lower high. I'm just saying that you can have big rallies in a downtrend. And usually those rallies cap out in this area. So above here is absolute confirmation that this is not going to be a lower high and we are going much higher than 64,000. So if that is your risk effectively, right? A high time frame close through 57, then you can look for shorts here because your downside is large, right? If we reject from this area, I bet you we at least come back to like here, right? And test that old range high. So if your downside from 54 to 42 is 10 grand, right? And your stop is just above 57, that's like a 3 or 4 risk to reward, right? Because a close through here and you're wrong, right? And if it rejects here and you're right, you get a $10,000 move to the downside. Your risk from here to here is only 3 grand for a potential 10 grand payoff. That's, you know, a 3-to-1 trade. That's a trade I'm willing to take. So this is an area where I plan on being defensive. I'm already starting to get defensive and looking for reasons to potentially short or hedge my bets. But this is absolutely the reason where I'm going to be the most cautious, because if we're going to form a lower high, I think it happens in here. But right now, things are looking pretty strong. This weekly candle is obviously going to close green here in the next 45 minutes. So it's just a matter of finding the setups in the meantime. So instead of trying to worry about, okay, what is the macro doing? It doesn't really matter. If you're a trader, I don't really care if we're in a bull market or a bear market. I just want volatility. I can make money in both directions. If you're an investor, obviously you want to know, are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? Can I just be in spot and hold? Or do I need to be sitting in cash and waiting for prices to drop? But me, I'm a trader. I'm able to be a little bit more agile. I can flip my bias very easily. So I don't really care if this is a lower high or not. All I care about are where are areas that I can look for setups, and then I zoom in and I look for those trades. So an area that I was talking about on Ninja Stream that we're coming up into right now is this weekly fair value gap, which also lines up with this and lines up with the fib as well. So this is an area where if this week we get some sort of big high time frame swing failure pattern within, I would potentially look to short. But for now, my bias is remaining towards more upside. It's just a matter of finding setups to get into longs. So we'll zoom in a little bit now. So the weekly, I kind of gave you the breakdown here. We'll zoom into the 12 hour. So we had this key kind of level here that I thought would cap price. And as you can see, once we came up, we consolidated within, broke above, and now we're retesting this. And it looks like we're just going to push up higher. So the next magnet for me, looking at this market structure right now, this looks like a very clear uptrend here on the H12, would be 50K. Markets like to react around these big kind of round numbers. People call them psychological levels. Why? Because it's 50,000. It's an easy round number to think about. If you're putting in your orders, what's an easy place to put your take profit? You put it at 50K, right? So oftentimes you will have resting orders at these round numbers. So that is what I see as the closest draw for price. And we also have this little consolidation that occurred right at that level. We have this order block right here as well. So if this is going to break high, I think 50K will likely give some type of trade setup, either a short or if we flip it, a long. So right now, what I'm looking at for trades, the market structure on the H12 here is bullish. So we came into this zone, we flipped it, we're putting in higher highs and higher lows. So if we get any sort of pullback here or run of this low early in the week, I think that would be a long trigger. I'm going to just delete this to make it a little more clear. What you can see here is we have a 12-hour breaker that formed right here. And that actually gave you this long, right? So if we zoom into the hourly here, what you can see is this is actually like a pretty clean setup that have formed here. You have your 12-hour breaker, which is this shaded box. Okay, price came down into it. Look what we got right into the breaker. Multiple swing failure patterns. That was your trigger. Stop at the low, and we're moving away now. So I think if we get any sort of move this week to the downside that runs any of these lows and then closes as an SFP, I think that could be a long trigger for you to get in early in the week on the long side. Alternatively, I want to see a flip of this range high. This was a pretty nasty fake out that we had the other night right here. So that's your validation if you're a bear, right? If you're short within this range from here to here, your invalidation is above this swing high, this SFP. So if price comes back up here and flips this zone, that's a long signal in my book, right? Because that would be the invalidation point for the bears. That's where I'm interested in getting long, on some sort of bullish PA above there. I'm not really interested in longing right where we are right now because we're into resistance, right? So we had this price floor, it snapped, we rejected, and we're rejecting at it again right now. So I wouldn't be interested in longing per se right here. I mean, you could, but where is your idea wrong, right? That's how I approach every single trade that I'm looking to get into. Where's the idea wrong? And for me, the idea is wrong way the fuck down here. So if you're long where we are right now, like, I mean, if you're bullish, I don't think you're wrong until here. Well, that's a long way down from here. So if you're looking for some sort of low time frame trade, I don't think getting in a long here makes sense. I think you want to see a run of a level and a reclaim, or I think you want to see us break above this range high and put in bullish PA. I think longing right here only makes sense if you're taking a swing trade and your time frame is much higher. So if you're interested in longing right now, you could argue that this is a daily order block right here, right? This is the down candle that caused an up move that broke market structure. There's your break in market structure. That is your order block. So feasibly, you could say, okay, I'm bullish from the test of this order block. We also ran that previous day's low. We got a nice long wick, but your stop has to go here, right? So that's a pretty loose setup on the daily unless you're targeting way higher. So if I were to take this trade on the daily, let's say you wanted to enter right now, your stop is loose, right? I would put it just below the order block here. So I'd put it at like 43.5. So where's your TP? Based on the daily, I would say right here is TP1. So this is a feasible setup that you could take. I ideally would have liked to have entered, during this wick when it was actually tagging the order block. It feels like you're chasing a little bit right now. But based on the daily time frame, this is a completely valid setup. It's effectively the exact same setup right here, right? You have the daily order block right here. Your stop would go down here. Your entry would be here, and you're targeting up there. So this is just the next daily order block in this uptrend. However, I think you've kind of missed the entry a little bit because it's already wicked into the level and moved away. So you could leave some bids in here, or you could do what I was mentioning earlier, which is zoom in and wait for a level to get run. So let's say we run some of these lows. As long as we run these lows and then like do a sweep or like an over under or some sort of bullish PA within this daily order block, I think that would give you a little bit better risk reward, a tighter setup to get involved as opposed to chasing all the way up here. But it's up to you. But this is the invalidation, I think, on the daily for the bulls, right? This is the invalidation for the daily on the bulls, the bottom of this order block here. So feasibly, this setup works. But like I said, the 12-hour, which is what I was using there, that's the range low. Same level, right? So that daily order block low, it's the same as my range low here. So that's what I was saying when I was zoomed in here. I said the invalidation for the bulls is down here. The invalidation for the bears is up here. So effectively right now, you're trading in the upper part of this range. So the risk reward on the long side here is very minimal, right? Whereas the risk reward on the short side, technically shorting here, targeting down here is better risk reward within this range, not within the overall context of the market, but just within this price range. We're in the upper part of the range. You do not want to long in the upper part of the range. It doesn't offer favorable risk reward, right? So right now, I would be patient. Unless you wanted to take that trade that I just showed you guys on the daily, there's no long setup for me as it stands right now. I would wait for a move down into the lower part of the range to get bullish, or a flip of the range high to get long. Target on the upside initially, I think, would be 50K. I'd be very surprised if we just nuke that level and don't get some kind of reaction. And then ultimately 55K would be the next level I would target on the long side. And that 55K level comes from right around here, right? There's your bearish order block on the 3-day. This is the up move that caused the down move. So this is the magnet for price. So if you're long right here and your stop is here, I think your target is there. And that gives you a 3R at least. But I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not currently in a Bitcoin trade. Right now I'm long Dogecoin and I'm long comp. And I'll show you guys my setups after. But hopefully that's pretty straightforward for Bitcoin here, guys. I think wait for a move into the lower part of the range, or wait for us to break above the range high and then get involved in a long. On a break of here, or absolutely on a break of 50. Those would be the two long setups I would look for. The only reason I would short right now is if we ran this high and broke back within the range, or if we broke below the range low. Right? So if we run above this high, break back in, this just becomes a deviation, then I'd be interested in shorting this back into about 43. And then obviously if we break below here, I would be, interested in taking a short into lower prices. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to take a quick view of the chat. Jesus, we've got 400 people. That's awesome. And then I'll answer any questions here. But right now, we're coming into a very kind of key area in price, right? We're coming right into kind of, the 0.62. of this range and right into the 50 of this entire range. So there's definitely going to be some sort of reaction here, whether it's right here or higher up, where we are going to get a short soon. And I will do my best to catch it with you guys. But hopefully that Bitcoin analysis makes sense, guys. Let me know in the chat if it doesn't, or if you have any questions. But effectively, longing lower part of the range or a flip of the high. The only short I'd be interested in is some sort of big sweep and break back in within the range. Otherwise, we're chilling. All right, so I'm going to take a quick look at the chat here. How do you keep from checking the screen all day? Get a fucking hobby, bro. I don't know, go outside, go to the gym, get a girlfriend, do something. The thing is if you're staring at the screen all day, it's because you don't have a plan, right? I talked about this in Ninja's stream and in my previous video. If you're staring at the screen all day waiting for something to happen, you don't have a fucking plan, right? I have a plan, I set alerts, and then when those alerts go off, that's when I pay attention. Your energy and your ability to focus is very finite when it comes to trading. And if you're staring at the screen for 12 hours a day, you're gonna burn yourself out, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. So if you find yourself staring at the screen too much and you don't like it, maybe go up to a higher time frame. But make a plan, set levels where you're interested in looking for trades, and then only pay attention when price is at those levels. That's what I always talk about, right? You need to frame your setups around key levels. So once you get good at identifying key levels, and those key levels might be based on fibs, indicators, they might be the Monday range high and low, they might be SR that you've marked, whatever it is, wait till price gets to those levels, then that's when you dial in, get on screen, and you go in and you look for your setup. Otherwise, in that time in between, you shouldn't have to be staring at the screen if you don't want to. If you want to be degenning on the low time frame, and in 50 trades at a time in a bunch of altcoins and all sorts of shit, by all means do whatever you want. But you got to figure out what works for your personality type and what is sustainable for you. If you have a full-time job and a family and kids and shit, you can't be staring at the screen for 8 hours a day, right? Or if you're 20 and you live in your mom's basement, maybe you can be staring at the screen for 10 hours a day. But you need to find what works for you and have a plan. If you have a plan, you're going to feel way less FOMO. You're not going to feel like you're missing out on shit, because unless price is at your levels, you're not paying attention. Yo, CanPunk, are you able to make slow mode a longer period of time? Because I'm losing questions so fast in the chat because there's so many people messaging. Thoughts on Tether pumping out billions lately? No comment. I don't pay attention to that at all. Mayne said a few weeks ago he was selling everything he owned at 48K. Yeah, I basically said that up in this area, this is where I would hedge my bets if we got here. But it's not just selling because we get to a level, right? If we're in here and we're in an uptrend, I'm not going to sell, right? But if we're in here and we put in some sort of bearish PA, then yeah, absolutely, I'm going to hedge my bets. Current 3-day rejected from the 0.618 perfectly. Nice. Mayne, you ever smash any CT thoughties? Absolutely not. Sounds like a terrible fucking idea. Why shitcoin Solana pumping? I don't know. Probably because everything's pumping. Hey Mayne, what do you think about the market filling the abysmal wicks ASAP? Binance 48K, 26th of July. This time, similar wicks happened in the past and were filled quick. Glad to hear your comments. I don't really think about that kind of shit, to be completely honest with you. I mean, we can go look at Binance. We had that. I think we actually got to look at the perp, don't we? Yeah, we had that wick. Where the fuck is the wick? I don't even know where that Binance wick is. I don't even know where the wick is. But yeah, I mean, we swept it, but all I care about is market structure. I don't really care about filling wicks and shit like that. That's not part of my edge. I just care about market structure. Is the market structure bullish, which it is right now, then I'm going to be focused on longs. If it's bearish, I'm focused on shorts. I ignore almost everything else. I don't pay attention to tether prints. I don't pay attention to funding. I don't pay attention to open interest. I don't pay attention to any of that shit. Once you have a system that you're comfortable with, that you've been using for a long time, less is more. I don't need to add a bunch of other things that I don't use to overcomplicate something that already works for me, right? I know tons of people that look at all these things and they use it as part of their edge. Maybe Tether prints money and that means volatility is coming, right? That's just not part of my trading strategy. I'm comfortable with what I do, and what I do is 99.9% exactly what you see here. Just price action, candles, horizontal lines. I don't even use volume. Was sidelined throughout the whole move, Max Payne. That sucks, bro. I'm sorry. Thoughts on AVAX? We can check that later. Yeah, I will go over Doge because I am in a Dogecoin long. What's up, Maida? Can you explain swing failure patterns? I've gone over swing failure patterns in so many videos, my man. Go watch my stream from last Sunday. I covered swing failure patterns. Go watch my stream with Ninja on Friday, I believe. I covered swing failure patterns. I've covered swing failure patterns in almost every video in the last month. So just go watch some of those. You will absolutely see. I uploaded a video yesterday, actually, where it's like excerpts from my last stream. It's about 14 minutes long. I cover swing failure patterns in that as well. I'm new here. Do you look at some coins that the chat mentions? Yes, I will, Albert, at the end. When Vancouver NFT Comic-Con? I guess I am wearing a Vancouver hat. That's not very good. OPSEC. Do you recommend traveling to BC in October? I mean, I don't know. Do you like the rain? It's not that rainy here. It depends where you're going to go in BC. I'd be more concerned about whether COVID shuts shit down, but it's still pretty nice here in October, man. Thanks for the effort and free education. I learned a lot. You're welcome, bro. Thanks for the message. Those are nice glasses, Mr. Necky Potter. Fuck you. How do I tell my girl I have another 2D girl in the metaverse? I don't know, bro. Your 2D girlfriend isn't real. Remember that. She's not real. Alex Weiss told me penguins are cool. Yeah, Alex Weiss is kind of a fucking dork. He's got a lot of money. Doesn't change the fact that he's a dork. I longed ETH at 31.21. Where should I be looking to exit? I already took some profit. We can look at Ethereum next, and hopefully that answers that question. What is Ninja's channel? Go onto my Twitter feed, scroll down a couple of tweets. I retweeted his tweet with the stream. I believe his handle is at Ninja Scalp, but just go check my Twitter feed. You'll see it there. What's a perfect weekly close? I have no idea. A green one? I couldn't spot that bullish SFP at the H1. It pains, bruh. Yeah, bro, it's here, right? We're within a bullish 12-hour range, right? Our 12-hour range is bullish. This is a bullish breaker on the 12-hour. So within that 12-hour range and that 12-hour bullish breaker, we want to look for bullish setups on the H1. What is a bullish setup? That is a bullish setup. This is another bullish setup right here. When we regained this price floor, you could have longed with your stop down here. This is actually an H1 breaker within this 12-hour breaker. Right? This is the up candle. Look at where we're rejecting right now from that breaker. I don't know why I always do that. Oh my God, blinding white light. See this? That's a bullish H1 breaker right there. So look at where we're rejecting right now. You could technically short this with your stop right here and target like right into here. That's like a 2-to-1 probably, maybe even more. Enter now, stop there, target there. That's a decent trade. But if we flip this little level here, you could long it into here, and then you could compound above here. But look at where we're rejecting, right? A breaker is a bearish order block first, and then if it flips, it becomes a breaker. Look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green hourly candles in a row. I wouldn't be surprised if the next one is red, and then green, something like that. But yeah, this is a key level right here. If you're looking for a low time frame setup, you could short this right now with your stop above here, or you could wait and see if we close through it. And if we do, you could long a pullback into here with your stop there. That would be kind of a low time frame setup if you're really itching to get in a trade right now. Any tips on scalping? Scalping works the exact same as regular trading. It's just low time frame. Go watch that video I uploaded yesterday, right? I talked about doing top down analysis, and your high time frame could be the daily, and then your low time frame could be the H1. Your high time frame could be the H1, and your low time frame could be the M5. This would be considered scalping. This would be considered, kind of a swing trade, right? It's just, as long as you're doing top down, it doesn't matter. Scalping just means you're entering and exiting based on the lower time frame. But the principles, the TA that you use is the exact same. Can you show us indicators that you might use for confirmation? I don't use any indicators. At what level would you short Matic? I can look at that later. What's up, Vinny? Happy Sunday to you, bro. ICP might be long. Guys, save the altcoin requests for the end, and I'll check them at the end. Real traders only use candlesticks. You fucking bet. Can you look at Rune? Yeah, guys, I will look at altcoins at the end. Okay, please stop fucking spamming the chat with altcoins. Assuming we break the previous all-time high, do you have any expectations in terms of how high Bitcoin will go? So generally, I'm not very good with price discovery. Once we're past any price levels, it's very hard to know where we're gonna go. So one thing that you can use is using fibs, is you can use standard deviations. Price moves mathematically, right? It makes mathematically, what's the fucking term I'm looking for? It moves in waves, and it will make measured moves, right? Measured moves. So if you measure a price swing, you can then extrapolate that in terms of a standard deviation higher or lower in terms of where the next move might project out to. So if we were to take the price swing from this low, which is effectively the lows right here, to the high. So this is 100%. One full standard deviation above would take us to 100K, right? So if we were to replicate this price swing, one full standard deviation above takes us to 100K. Another example of that would be here. Look, if you do the exact same thing from here to here, right? One full standard, I'm going to delete this. One full standard deviation from this swing was 36K, two full standard deviations was 53K, right? So that's just taking this move and stacking it on itself twice. So I think 100K would be a reasonable target. What do you think about watching the screen just to analyze price form? I mean, yeah, absolutely. If you're learning how to trade, you need to put in the screen time, right? You need to be on screen, studying price, getting used to, the pattern recognition, seeing setups form, seeing price react to levels live. Absolutely. But if you know what you're doing, you do not need to stare at the screen all the time, unless that is how you trade. If you're a scalper and you're taking trades on the 5 minute and the 1 minute, then yeah, you got to be locked in and on screen. But if you're like me and you're executing on the hourly and the 4 hour, I do not need to stare at the screen all day. It's just not necessary. You just asked me if I trade? What the fuck kind of question is that, bro? My name is Trader Mayne. Of course I trade. Why else are you watching this fucking stream? I'm actually learning a lot from your streams. Great insight. You've got some serious didactic talent. Blessings to you. I don't know what didactic means, but I'll take it as a compliment. Thank you. Yo, Mayne, can you show us indicators you might use for confirmations? Ruben, you already asked that question. I don't use any indicators. I read the Twitch chat too, bro. That's how I'm reading your message. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. You're welcome. Okay. Jesus Christ, there's so many messages in the chat. I'm going to get to Ethereum, guys. I'll cover Ethereum real quick, and then we will go back to the chat and answer some more questions, okay? Let's just mark this up just for shits and giggles and just see what happens if that short that I kind of called out might work. Let's just see, just for fun. So we would have entered here, stop here, right? Target here. Let's see if that plays out. Okay, so Ethereum is dealing with one major level right now. So again, very similar to Bitcoin, the market structure is extremely bullish. We're working on our fourth green weekly candle in a row, all things pointing bull, right? Bullish market structure. We literally just put in a higher low. So things are looking good for Ethereum. However, this is the most significant point of resistance, in my opinion, on the Ethereum chart for a while. It depends on how you view it, right? But to me, if you look at the daily, this is super key. The next key level is not till almost 4K. Why is that green? I hate it. It's hideous. Is not till 37 and then almost like 4K, right? So this is going to be an area that I think will garner a reaction. Very similar to Bitcoin. This is the point of a huge breakdown here, right? This up move. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of reaction here on Ethereum. But if we break through this zone, which it looks like it wants to do, your next target is 3,700 on the upside. And similar to Bitcoin being at like 55, 57K, that puts Ethereum between 3,700 and 4,000, right? So if you pull your fib from here to here, that OTE and sweet spot is right here. So this is where you want to be defensive. This is where you want to hedge your bets. This is where you want to be careful. Another, I think, interesting thing to consider when discussing Ethereum is the craze that is going on with NFTs right now. We have NFTs that are going absolutely nuts. We have punks selling for millions of dollars. We have these fucking penguins selling for, tens of thousands of dollars. We've got fast food punks. We've got fucking random weird, NFTs. It's kind of giving me like very ICO vibes, right? Where there was some really good projects that launched and now everyone is just trying to launch an NFT project and just get a piece of the pie, right? Like everyone is making an NFT. There's the fast food punks now. There's the gorillas. There's just like stupid, clear knockoff ones that look like they're very low effort, but people are buying them. It seems like it's a little bit like mania. I'm not trying to call top on it, but it definitely feels a little bit fucked. But you have to realize all of these NFTs, for the most part, obviously not ones, on Solana, for example, or BSC, are traded using Ethereum, right? You're buying these with Ethereum. They're being sold for Ethereum. So you have to consider what is the effect on Ethereum pumping or dumping. If we have some sort of major correction on Ethereum, is that going to nuke the prices of these NFTs? Will it not matter? Are they going to be impervious to any sort of market volatility? I doubt it. So something to consider for sure. So if you're heavy into the NFTs, well, just realize what happens if Ethereum pulls back to 2,700. Is your NFT fucked? Is the price floor going to fall out? Or does it not matter? It might be worth less in USD, but the same amount in Ethereum. I don't fucking know. The reason I didn't buy a punk is because I'm like way too much of a pussy to spend $150,000 on a punk. And have the risk of that going to zero or like way less and having the lack of kind of real liquidity. I just don't understand it well enough. With the penguin, I bought a few penguins. I spent 10 grand. In my mind, if it goes to zero, I'm like, fuck it. It was only 10 grand. And if it goes higher, I'm like, fucking sweet. I've made some money. But 150K is kind of a lot to risk on something that I don't fully understand. Then again, I don't fully understand a lot of the altcoins I trade, and I put way more than 150K into those. So fuck me, right? Okay. So Ethereum, like I said, very key area that we're in right now. I would not be surprised if we see some sort of rejection in here. If we are to push higher, 3,700 is my next target for Ethereum. So looking at the 12-hour chart here, market structure is bullish on Ethereum. So here is your 12-hour high. And here is your 12-hour swing low, right? So this is the low that generated the high. And you can see if we zoom in on the hourly, what did we have? We had a swing failure pattern that gave you the setup right into daily demand, right? So we have our daily breaker right here, or our hourly breaker, excuse me. Within a 12-hour range, where are we within the range? Here's your range high. Here's your range low. What is this? This is probably right around the midpoint or just below. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the 62 fib. If I had to eyeball it, pretty damn close. Boom, 62 fib. That's how much time I've spent staring at the screen as I can fucking eyeball this shit. It's terrible. I should go outside more. But you had a swing failure pattern right into that level. 62 fib, bullish swing failure pattern within a bullish 12-hour range. That's a long trigger. This is what you need to be watching, right? You don't need to be watching when price is up here. When we just made a high, you're not longing Ethereum up here. You're waiting for that retracement. How does price move? It moves in waves, right? You're not trying to long this. You're waiting for it to establish a range, and then you're waiting for a retracement into that range to get long, anticipating expansion into a new high. And that's exactly what you got here, right? This is your 12-hour up leg. You're not longing here. You wait for a retracement into the range. Where do we like the retracement to be? We like it to be right at that sweet spot, right in this 62 to 75 percent range, right, or in the lower 1/3 of the range, effectively, right? And you can see that happening here. There's your up leg. Here's your retracement into the range. It comes right into the OTE, and it gave you a bullish trigger as well. So there was 3 pieces of confluence. 12-hour range is bullish, 62% fib tap, and the 1-hour breaker, and the 1-hour SFP. That's 4 pieces of confluence to be interested in longing there, right? So what do I mean when I'm not staring at the screen all day? When I see price make a new high like this, right? We broke this high. That's telling me that the 12-hour wants to trade higher, right? We just made a new high. So now I'm waiting for this price leg to retrace within the range. And what do I want it to do? I want it to find liquidity within the range. There's 2 types of liquidity. There's external liquidity and there's internal liquidity. External liquidity is going to be, where is price reaching for on the chart? Price is reaching for liquidity within here. Okay, that would be your external range liquidity. Your internal range, so let's say that there is, let's see if I can arts and craft this motherfucker for you guys. Okay. So this is your external range liquidity here. Right? Way up there. That's where price might be reaching if it continues to expand. But to get into a long, I want to wait for price to retrace within this range and find some internal range liquidity to scoop up. And then I want to get involved for the expansion to the upside, right? So this would be internal range liquidity. That would be external range liquidity. Right? So if we're looking at what I just tried to explain there in terms of the context of this current move, the external range liquidity is over here, right? The internal range liquidity is below this previous day's low, right? And below that previous day's low, what happens? We came into this 12-hour bullish order block. There was the 1-hour breaker. There's a whole bunch of pieces of confluence that you can get involved in. So how do you find these moves? Well, the first thing you need to do is mark your key levels. Here's our range. Here's a 12-hour bullish order block. Mark your fib, and then what do? You do nothing. You wait. You set an alert at this level, and when price pings you and your alert goes off, that's when you zoom in, you get on screen, and you look for that setup. And as you can see, we came right into that H12 level, pinged it, gave you a setup here. We swept that previous day's low. We tapped into that 12-hour order block. We tapped into that 1-hour breaker. All those things line up. We're within the sweet spot of this range. That's why this long worked out so well, right? And now what are we doing? We're not going to chase. We're not going to chase. We are now at the upper part of the range. So what are we looking for? We're looking for either a retracement of this swing, right? The exact same thing that I just explained on the 12-hour can happen on the 1-hour to get long, right? Or we wait for a clear breakout and then a retest of the range high would be how I would get involved in an Ethereum long right now. So we're right into resistance, okay? And we need to either wait for price to give us a pullback. So this price swing on the hourly is going to have the exact same logic that that 12-hour price swing had. If we see some sort of retracement into this range, maybe there's some low time frame levels in here that we can run. That could be a long opportunity. Or we wait for it to make a new higher high, because the exact same as Bitcoin, we have an SFP here. There's your bearish invalidation. Make a higher high, and we're getting along above the range high. The only way I would be interested in shorting Ethereum right now is effectively the exact same short up as Bitcoin. Short setup as Bitcoin, excuse me. If we get some sort of fake out above the high and a break back below, that would be a short trigger for me on Ethereum. But for now, I'm not really interested in just shorting this level blind. I would want to see some sort of swing failure pattern or some sort of bearish market structure form in here for me to get short. So it doesn't have to be an SFP. It could be a move up, right? And then a lower high, a breakdown. Now I'm interested in shorting back within this range here, okay? So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Right now we are at the upper part of the range on both Ethereum and Bitcoin, so I'm not gonna be shorting this, or I'm not gonna be longing this here. I'm rather gonna wait for some sort of setup to make itself clear to me by either a small retracement or a breakout and a retest of the range high. Very similar to Bitcoin, we have a daily setup playing out right now, right? Here's your daily order block. I actually quite like this because, as you can see, we took out yesterday's low, really long lower wick, and we're pushing right back up. So, I mean, looking at the daily right now, like gun to my head, we trade here. That would be kind of what looks like the nearest draw. Okay, so hopefully that's Bitcoin done. That's Ethereum done. So I'm going to go back to the chat real quick, guys. All right. Please don't spam it with a bunch of bullshit, please. Okay, let's see. What are the Fibonacci settings? There's the Fib settings. Do you scalp low time frame using supply and demand? If you could explain, please share how. Exactly what I just showed you works on any time frame. I'm using the H12 and the H1. You could use the H1 and the M5. The concepts are the exact same, right? So if you're gonna say, oh, I want to scalp, I don't want to wait on the 12 hour. Okay, well, instead of using a 12-hour range, here's your hourly range, right? Here's your hourly range right here. So wait for a retracement on the low time frame within the hourly range. Maybe it wants to come and run one of these lows, right? Then you would get long here, right? This is the exact same concept of what I just explained on the 12-hour, but you're doing it on the M5. It works the exact same. The key is you have to do top-down analysis. You need a high time frame bias, right? Which is derived from either your high time frame being the daily, the H12, or the hourly. And then you need to look for low time frame setups that are within the same order flow as the high time frame. So if your high time frame is the hourly, and it's bullish, you want to look for bullish setups on the M5. If your high time frame is bullish on the hourly and you're looking for shorts on the M5, you're counter trading the high time frame order flow. You don't want to do that. Do you ever take CT sentiment into consideration? Doesn't sound like it, but would be curious since it seems like a majority of CT thinks the bull market is back on versus potential complacency bounce. It is something that I think about and will consider, but I do think that you have to take it with a grain of salt. Saying everyone is bullish is not a reason to be bearish. Everyone was bullish from 20K all the way up to 60K. So if you're like everyone's bullish, well, you got blown out for multiple months in a row and $40,000 of upward price movement. It is something I pay attention to. I do think a lot of people assume that the bottom is in, so it's something that's in my mind, but it's not enough for me to make a decision. Mayne, seen a lot of your videos. You never mentioned sizing, taking profits, stop losses, increasing and decreasing positions based on price action. Yeah, I don't talk a ton about risk management. Obviously, use stops. Don't risk more than you're willing to use. I risk between 1% and 5% of my trading account on any given setup. And that 1% and 5% will vary depending on how confident I am in the setup, where I am at mentally, what time frame I'm taking on it. I have different levels of setups that I'm confident in. Some I know are higher risk, so I won't risk as much. Taking profits and things like that. I could do a video on that in the future if that's something that people are interested in. Any chance of looking at Dent? Sure, maybe at the end. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I'm very fucking old, bro. You don't want to know. When did you start trading? I started trading in 2013, 2014, but I had no idea what I was doing back then. How does he do lines that are not the whole chart? It's just press the line button here. It's just this line, the trend line on TradingView. Why is that rectangle support? Because it's a bullish order block, right? That is the down move that caused an up move. If you want to know what order blocks are, go watch some of my previous streams. I cover them in detail. Can you explain how you establish where the breaker is? A breaker, I talk about order blocks, breakers, and SFPs in almost every single video, right? So you guys got to go watch some of my old streams if you want explanations, or join my Discord. It's free. I have an education tab in there where I explain all of this stuff with pictures and pretty fucking charts and shit. So go check that out. Man dug into the ICT handbook for that one. You better believe it. It SFP, then up, and then SFP down, fuckers. Well, the difference is, though, is what is the high time frame context? You're talking about this. You're saying, okay, well, they did an upward SFP and then a downward SFP. So what one do you pay attention to? The H12 is bullish. This is what I mean by high time frame order flow. The H12 is bullish, and I'm looking for longs. So if the H12 is bullish, I'm not paying attention to short side SFPs. We're in the lower part of the range. We're within bullish, an area that I believe is going to be support. I want to focus on bullish setups, not bearish setups. The reason this didn't play out is we're bullish down here. The reason this one played out up here, because this SFP did end up selling us off, right, is because what? We're in the upper part of the range. What do you do in the upper part of the range? You look for shorts. What do we do in the lower part of the range? We look for longs. How do you, can you teach me how to use the fib? Bro, I've been using the fib the entire video. Just copy me. Pull it from a high to a low or a low to a high. How are you able to trade without using indicators? I'm still a noob. Years of practice, my friend. All indicators do are represent price in volume in a different visual way. So if you understand price action and market structure, you don't need to use indicators. It doesn't mean you can't use indicators. It doesn't mean indicators are bad or wrong. It's just not something I use. Why does everyone say Ethereum is the greatest trade? I don't know, because it went like up 80x in the last year. How can we tell if it's a real breakout or a fake out? Market structure, right? If we are breaking above a high, right, and then it breaks back below, that was a fake out, right? But if we break above, retest, and then make another high, now you've got pretty good confirmation that it is not a fake out, right? So use market structure. What's up, Brian? How do you trade horizontal lines that are on the full chart, only on specific parts? I don't understand your question at all, my man. I'm sorry. Regarding the OTE, do you use the wick or just the body? I use the wicks, wick to wick. Do you still hold Litecoin? No. Can you teach me how to use the fibs? Bro, you gotta watch some of my old videos, man. I understand like some of these questions for you guys are super basic, but I go over, like I said at the start of the video, I have like literally 150 YouTube videos where all I do is cover order blocks, swing failure patterns, Fibonacci retracements, all that good stuff. Put the time in, join my Discord, go through the education section and watch and study and practice and practice and practice, and you will get it. But the essence of the fib is just a measuring tool. Do not overthink it. You pull it from a low to a high for a up move, and from a high to a low for a down move. Would you give a quick rundown of what you consider a breaker? Again, guys, go in my Discord. I have an entire infographic, and it's on Twitter too. If you go on to Twitter and you type in hashtag TMTA tips, I have an entire infographic that I made up on what an order block is and what a breaker is. I suggest you go and look it up. How did you learn PA? Would you recommend to learn PA better? I don't know. Watch some of my videos. What I'm teaching you right now is price action. So if you like how I trade, go watch my old videos and you will learn stuff. join my Discord, go through the education section. Crypto Cred also has an entire free PA course that you can check out on his Twitter. Hi, Mayne. What are all the indicators if you don't use them? These are just things that I have on here because they're ones that my homies have made, for example. Like this indicator just gives you like the previous weekly low, the weekly high. It will give you Monday's range. It marks monthly opens for you. So that's one that my friend made that I like. This is the exact same thing. It just shows opens. This is just volume. I don't use this. These are just like, this just shows you where price sweeps happen. So like swing failure patterns essentially, but these are things that I usually don't even have on, to be honest with you. Do you feel like there are times of the day where it's better to be trading like daily close because Asia's waking up? Generally, there are times where price is going to be more volatile. The daily close is one of those times. The New York Open, which is 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and an hour before the New York Open, generally a lot of volatility. The London Open, which is like 11, 12, my time, Pacific Standard Time. So there are times where there is more volatility for sure. I have a question. Okay. What's your net worth? Why would I tell you that? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Yo, man, what percentage do you keep in cash for dips? It depends. Have you ever blown an account before? Absolutely. I've blown lots of accounts before. Hey, Mayne, I wrote you on Twitter. I hope you don't mind. I'd like to see if you'd give me some exposure. I'm not going to just retweet your NFT project, bro. I'm sorry. Do you recommend any Ichimoku cloud traders? Zoran Kohli, Captain Kohli on Twitter is the only guy I know that does Ichimoku very well. What did I have for breakfast? I had a egg thingy from Starbucks. Are your shirts made special for your neck? Yes. Should new traders focus on trading a single asset like BTC or a Forex pair? I think when you're learning, less is absolutely more, right? Focus on getting really good at what you're doing. The problem with crypto is there's so much input, so much stimulation with all the altcoins that are pumping and blah, blah, blah. It can be very hard to focus your energy. So figure out what your system is, figure out what works for you. Dial in on that, get really good at identifying key levels, get really good at identifying setups, and then you can start expanding, looking at more charts and shit. Hey, Mayne, can you give a shout out to your sister? Shout out to Kinz's sister. She wants to go do stepsister with you. I don't know if you're making a porno reference there, but I'm down. Make a video about blocks, etc., and add links in the description for the new kids. Maybe that's not a bad idea. The problem I have is I'm not very good at doing those kind of pre-recorded videos. I have a really hard time planning videos out and like reading off a script and shit. I'm way better going off the cuff, but it is something I could do. Question, which levels do you use when you're using the fib retracement tool? I already answered that. It's the optimal trade entry, right? Lower part, I use the range, I use the midpoint, and then I use those three. And it's the same in both directions. Range, midpoint, and then those three. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Oh, God. Did this shit just freeze? Oh no. Please don't freeze. Alright, I don't know what's going on, but my thing froze. Do I trade Forex or only crypto? Stupid question, but how do you get EMAs and MAs and stuff? I keep trying to get the 200-day MA and I can't find it. Go on your indicator list, type in moving average, click it, and then once you click on it, you go to the settings and you change the input. So if you want the 200 moving average, this would be the 200-day moving average, right? Because it's a 200 period MA, right? That's how you do it. Okay. Let's take a look at some altcoins. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, there's so many messages in the chat, guys, and I try and do my best to answer them all, but a lot of the questions are very basic that have been answered in this stream or previous streams. So if you asked me a question about order blocks, about fibs, about swing failure patterns, about breakers, market structure, all of those have been answered in previous streams. So I just suggest you go watch some previous streams and you will get those answers. What I will do this week, I like to do those like little video game AMA streams. So I'll try and fire one of those up this week, and we can do kind of an AMA style question, because I know some of you guys ask questions about how long have I been trading, how long did it take me to be profitable. I've answered a lot of those questions in the past, but I'm more happy to do that in kind of a more AMA style stream as opposed to this stream where I want to be a little bit more focused on the TA. So I'm gonna start looking at altcoins here. So if you have a couple altcoins you want me to check, drop them in the chat. I'll take a couple of requests. Weekly just closed, so we had another green weekly close on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's see if we flip this breaker. So if we're able to flip this breaker, we're gonna trade to the range high, right? So this is a 1 hour breaker. If we flip this, we'll trade to the range high. But the weekly close on Bitcoin and Ethereum, both very bullish. All right, let's start with Doge, because I am in a Dogecoin long, and I'm sure some of you guys are in Dogecoin as well. So Dogecoin, big old dump, right? Huge sell-off, and then massive fucking rally here that we're seeing from the low. We're already up over 100%. So if you're looking at Dogecoin, where are the levels of interest in terms of where price might stop, things like that? We're into very key resistance right now. So this is effectively the, order block that caused this down move. So if Doge is going to stall out, it happens here. If we get above this high, which is about 37 cents, that would be an area where I think Doge could get really crazy and start trading back up towards, 50 or 60 cents. So looking at the H12, you can see that 37 cents level that I marked also lines up quite nicely with this consolidation here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we trade at least up to here. But this move, basically, this is like some vertical ass accumulation that we got going on here. And it just pushed up. So let's see if we can get a continued push to 37 cents. That would be kind of my first target here for Doge. It looks pretty good right now. It does have the ability to pull back into like here, right? So this is kind of your SR flip. So if it comes back into there, I think it's okay. I don't really want it to start trading below 30 cents again. Ideally, we stay above 30 cents. Then we should trade to 37. If we can flip 37, I think the next target would be this here, these highs here. So above 45, almost to 50. All right. So Doge looks pretty good. Everyone seems to be bullish on Doge, understandably so. How do you get involved in these moves? Like, how do you know that this was bottoming here? Really hard to say on the weekly. There wasn't really any sort of inclination that it was going to be the bottom. For me, the trigger to get long Doge was when we reclaimed this price floor, right? This becomes kind of this was the lows here. We dip below, back above, below. Once we reclaim this becomes kind of a deviation. And then you target the next level of the range, which was here. So that would be kind of the only way. Getting long down here, right? There's no level over here that we bounced off of. But what you could argue is we had this, right? This is just a higher low, right? So you have a higher low, kind of a double bottom. I said a lot of alts look like this in Discord. That W formation, and then they broke the range high and they pushed up. A ton of alts printed this exact same bottom. This is the same bottom that Ethereum put in as well, right? There's your W, right? broke through the range high, and fucking sent. This did kind of a triple bottom almost, right? But a lot of alts did this kind of same bottoming pattern where it was equal lows. It didn't ever truly break down. And then obviously once we got above there, that was bullish. And Doge, very similar setup. So Doge still looks good. 37 cents is kind of where I'm targeting on Dogecoin. All right, let's see here. Let's take a look at XRP. XRP has gone crazy. So this fib that I pulled here, right? From the low of this entire move to the high, we came way fucking down right into weekly demand, and we got a huge push up. So why do I like this area? If you just look left here, look at this level right here. That's a monster SR flip. So to me, you know, you have this level here that caused the breakdown, capped price, capped price, capped price. Look what happened when we broke through that level. Massive move up. And I talked about this in my last stream. When you have those big moves up, right? Generally, on the way back down, you will get a retest of kind of the point of origin, the point of the breakout. And usually it will give you a trade. It doesn't mean that this is going to make a new all-time high. It might, but it always will give you some sort of reaction. And that's exactly what we have here. This is your point of origin of that entire breakout. And it's also confluent with this level that was capping price. This is the biggest SR flip on the entire chart. And we came back, we retested it, boom, we launched. And if you zoom in here, you get that same formation that I talked about on so many altcoins here, where we had the double bottom, right? Basically, this is like a falling wedge, right? And a slightly higher low, and then boom. So this has happened over and over and over again on so many different altcoins, right? So it's just a matter of finding the ones that haven't run like crazy yet. It's a game of musical chairs, right? First Dogecoin went, then, you know, Litecoin might go, then this one might go, then Cardano might go. You need to find the ones that haven't moved yet that are printing the exact same price action. This price action has been apparent on so many different altcoins, right? The double bottom, the falling wedge, there's the flip of the range high, and also a retest of that key level, and then boom, it launched. So XRP was a great trade if you got in down here. It is starting to get up into an area where I would be potentially looking to take some profit, right? Pull your fib from the high to the low. Look where we topped out so far, right at that 70.5 fib. So you can see here, this is kind of where you want to be cautious, right? This was the point of breakout. This is the point of the breakdown right here. So this is the area on XRP where I think you want to be cautious. If we get above 145 on XRP, I think we'll make a new all-time high. But right now, this thing has had a monster move off the lows, and we're coming into an area of resistance. So if you long down here, you should be starting to at least take some profits up in this area on XRP, right? And this is the same exercise you're going to want to do on all of the altcoins. You're going to want to go pull your fib from the high to the low, find out where the kind of the optimal pullback would be, and that's where you want to start being careful. And then if you mark the 7.9 above there, I think confirms that we'll make a high above here and likely a new all-time high. So XRP coming into resistance. I think this can trade as high as kind of 135, 145, but this is an area definitely to be cautious. I just went over Doge, guys. ICP, yeah, let's look at ICP. Internet Computer Protocol, or whatever. So, I mean, I don't even remember drawing this box, but there's your bottom. So, I mean, very similarly, right? There's your one low, then there's your falling wedge to the slightly higher low, right? Key SR flip, and then launch. This has not expanded nearly as much as some of the other coins, but it's the exact same setup. Falling wedge into your slightly higher low. Exact same setup across the board. Getting a nice pump here. So ICP, I think, looks pretty good. Like if you're to mark out the market structure on this thing, that's your low, or that's your high, excuse me. Here's your low. And we just put in a bullish swing failure pattern here. Right here. Zoom in. Right? This is like a little deviation play right here. I could argue that this is a long right now. I think you kind of missed the optimal long, but you could long this right now with your stop here and your target at least to there. Right? Here's your deviation. So that's your risk. Ideally, you would have entered a little lower, a little closer. Like once we close back within the range, probably would have been a better entry. But I think this is not a bad setup as it is right now. Stop there. So I like this, right? This is the exact same concept that I showed you on Bitcoin. 12-hour range. Here's your retracement into the range, and there's your bullish price action. So I'll leave this on. We'll see if it plays out. And if it doesn't, I'll just delete it from the chart and never speak of it again. Can't lose. No, I don't look at divs. Oh my God, he's so handsome. I can't focus on the chart. Shut up, Tom. You're gonna make me blush, bro. I'm a new follower, but I really enjoy your content. Thanks, dude. Thanks, man. Welcome. What do I do if I don't have exposure to crypto right now? You probably cry. Go sit in the shower, sit on the floor, turn the water on, and just sob uncontrollably. I don't know, dude. Make a plan, right? At what point do you feel comfortable getting back in the game, right? What do you want to get involved in? Do you want to buy Bitcoin? Do you want to buy Ethereum? Do you want to buy altcoins? I would say buying right now, you're buying towards the upper part of the range, right? We're 60, 70% off the lows already. So don't chase. Wait for price to retrace, because it will. Mark levels where price might retrace to, and then that's where you get back in the game, right? Do not chase the green candles. Be patient. How do you balance going with strength on those plays versus compounding with slow movers? Sometimes you long the wrong coin, right? But if you go watch my altcoin video, a good thing to do is to compare assets, right? So if you look at ICP USD and you divide it by XRP USD, which one of these should you be in right now? XRP, right? XRP has been smashing this. But if this starts putting in bullish price action, right, that might be a sign to rotate out of XRP because it's moved a lot more and rotate into ICP. So you can compare the assets and determine which ones are going to be moving stronger than others. There's also all sorts of chart configurations you can use on TradingView where you can mark up all of the alts at the same time and see which ones are outperforming others. There's tons of ways you can do it. But you want to compare assets. You can compare asset baskets, shit coins versus DeFi coins, versus the majors. And you can see which ones are moving. The market generally moves from majors to kind of mid caps to low caps. Okay, we'll look at Rune. I just answered your question, so I am looking at the Twitch chat too. I see both chats. Rune is just going insane. All it takes is not getting hacked, and this thing goes nuts. So we had a run of that low, right? You zoom in. What do we have here? A little bit different setup on Rune. We made a lower low. I honestly think if it weren't for the hacks, Rune would have bottomed here. And this little part wouldn't have happened. But if you bought Rune at like $3, congrats, you're a fucking god. But yeah, this looks pretty good, man. I mean, market structure is bullish. So all you need to do is focus on longs right now for this. It just made a higher high, right? That's a higher high. So you now have a new bullish range. So what are you doing? Are you longing it right now? No, right? We are coming up into some weekly resistance up in here. That's weekly resistance. So wait for it to either make a higher high or retrace within this range. That's how I would play Rune right now. But if you look at it from the high time frame, very nice rally off the bottom, and we are coming into kind of an area of resistance. So I wouldn't say it's bearish here by any means, but be careful. This would be kind of the drawn price to me, $10 if it can make another leg up, and it looks like it wants to. This looks like that is the pullback, and this looks like it's about to extend. So I'd say Rune is probably going to $10 to $11 here pretty quick, assuming the rest of the market continues to be bullish, which it looks like it wants to be. Holy shit. All right, I'm going to take a couple more, guys, and then I'm going to end the video. It's already been an hour and 20 minutes. I'm trying to make these videos not 2 fucking hours because it gives me a headache. Look at Bitcoin here, guys. There's the breaker. Absolutely launched through. If we pull back to here, I think you can long it, or a flip of the range high, right? Bullish. We're bullish on the Bitcoin. And alternatively, if we just run this high and then break back within the range, that would be a potential short setup. Back into the range, right? Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum's breaking up to the range right now, but everything looks pretty good. I don't see a reason to be bullish quite yet. What time zone do you start trading living in Vancouver? It depends what time I wake up. I hate waking up early, so I never wake up at 5 a.m. All right, I will take 2 more coin requests, guys. Look, we're already making money on this trade. Ayman Abdul, one of my biggest pet peeves is when you spam the same message over and over and over again, bro. I've read it, and you asked me to look at like 10 different coins. All right, what's another coin we can look at? Let's look at... Yeah, I'll take comp because I'm in a comp long right now. All right, so why did I long this thing? So basically, I see this as consolidation under resistance. We have resistance here, right? 1 test, 2 test, 3rd test, and we're consolidating right under this area. So I'm essentially banking on this consolidation leading to a breakout. So my target on comp is way the fuck up here, because if we break out of this level, we've got a pretty big gap up to almost $700. So my target is quite wide on this one, and my stop is quite loose. My stop is all the way down here, because basically this could fake out below here and then go up, but I'm basically banking on this being kind of, a consolidation right below a key resistance level. I'm banking on this pattern based on everything pumping, which is what's happening right now, breaking out to the upside. If we get below here, I'm definitely wrong, so I'll probably cut the trade, but we could do something like this, right? But yeah, basically consolidation under resistance, big gap in price up here, big empty space right here. So if we do break up, I expect a big old green dildo candle. Zoom out, right? This just looks like it wants to go. Once we flip this level, I'm super bullish now, right? I'm super bullish that we flip this level. Breakout, retest, give me expansion now is effectively, oh my God. Is effectively what I'm looking for. Okay. All right, one more request, guys. Do you recommend only watching a certain number of cryptos? It's up to you, man, right? Like, how big is your attention span? How much shit can you focus on at once? Are you doing this full time? Are you doing this part time? there can be an overwhelming amount of shit happening. You got to realize the market is very much correlated to each other. So a lot of stuff will move together, but there are going to be laggers and leaders. And so sometimes you long the wrong fucking coin, right? So you do want to do your best to try and focus your attention on only a certain amount of things, right? If you like DeFi, focus on certain DeFi coins, or watch the DeFi perp to determine if DeFi is bullish relative to other coins, right? So there are things you can do to try and maximize where you're paying attention. But if you have a watch list with like 600 coins, I mean, that's just not how I trade. I'm way too ADD for that. I mainly trade Bitcoin and Ethereum and then just a couple alts. I'm not someone who's looking at like 500 coins at any given moment. All right, I will look at Link. No, I hate Link. I covered Link in my altcoin video. Go watch that. Thanks for tuning in, Anna. Should I buy one of those cute Japanese toaster ovens? I mean, probably. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds like a great idea. Thanks, Eric. Okay, I will look at AVAX, and then I'm gonna call it, guys. I'm gonna have I'll be doing 2 more videos this week, guys. We'll do an AMA stream, and I will do my altcoin video on Thursday. So if I didn't get to your altcoins, I didn't answer your questions, it's too damn bad. I'm just kidding. I will be doing another video later. Okay, so AVAX looks bullish as shit, right? Like, to me, this seems like the most obvious draw on price right now is that $21 level, and we just cleared a key level right there on this weekly close. So if you zoom into the H12, that would be your target on price. Where's our range, right? I would say this is probably your range here, your range low. I mean, we just put in a new high here. So I'd say any sort of dips here on the H12 into this order block here are probably a pretty good buy. I don't know if you get it, but if you do, I would say anything like this, target there with your stop here, would be a good trade on AVAX. Okay. But yeah, this one looks good. That's one I'm going to add to my watch list. So what am I going to do? How would I trade this? I would set an alert at the edge of this order block and at the midpoint of the order block. And then I would either enter based on the 12-hour, or I would zoom in and look and say, okay, well, the 1 hour is quite steep. Maybe I get some sort of pullback into here. And then if that happens and it does something like this, well, now I have a much tighter stop. But within this area, I want to be looking for longs. So I'm not going to look for shorts. I'm looking for longs within that area. You're very humble and real. I like that. Thank you, Carpe Diem. That's a very nice thing to say. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was educational. So same as last time, I will be uploading a condensed version of the stream afterwards. And I will be uploading a highlights clip. So there's going to be tons of videos. So stay tuned to YouTube for that. If you have any questions, hit me up in Discord or on Twitter. My Discord is completely free to join. The homie CanPunk has dropped the link in the chat a bunch of times. It's also in the bio of my Twitter. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. There'll be lots more videos this week. I'll be more active in Discord as well. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and share the video with your friends and family. Force them to watch it. And yeah, shout out to Bybit for sponsoring. I'll talk to you guys later this week. Thanks so much. All right. Bye, guys.